Good morning, everyone. I got Lauren Elaine back. This should be a fun one. Last time was kind of out of control, but good morning, Lauren.
Good morning.
Yeah, those of you that may have tuned in to see Joel, I'm not sure, but he's running late. He has some stuff he's dealing with, but right now it's me and Lauren, and I think Kobe might be hopping on. But yeah, let's just get things started. Let me just start this on Instagram real quick. And yeah, Instagram's a pain, but yeah, I guess I haven't have I talked to you since 2025? I don't know. I know we talked. Was it after the new year?
Uh, I don't, I think that was before the new year. No, maybe, yeah, that was before the new year.
Well, happy New Year, and how was it?
It was lovely. I was with my family. My family came to visit me here in Florida. So honestly, we were in bed by like 9 o'clock. I didn't do anything crazy.
Well, I can't say that for what the country's going through right now. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I mean, even on New Year's Eve, um, Blues Bros. If you don't know, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, got Hyder here. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, 2025 is kind of starting off with a lot of uncertainty and I guess a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. But as far as you, I mean, what are you looking at for 2025? Are you preparing yourself in any way, or are you looking to make some moves?
Yeah, I think my 2025 is going to be about a refocusing on balance because the last 4 years I've just gone so hard into real estate and I've been so busy and doing high stress things, and being new at real estate was very stressful. And now that I feel like I have a few years under my belt and I'm more experienced, I'm going to try and take a more balanced approach and not necessarily growing as quickly, but being more strategic with my growth.
All right. Well, we have a very important question first. Hyder wants to know who did Lauren kiss for New Year's? So we all want to know. So I don't know if you can maybe put that in the chat if you want, but yeah. And then
I
PE
don't
turned
kiss and
RE.
tell.
Curtis is here. Thanks for stopping by. But he said, "Is Lauren a rapper? What's with all the mics in the background?"
No, that's so funny. That I'm not a rapper. Wish I was in college, maybe tried to be for a second.
Wait. I want to know about this now. What-
No, but this is just like, I don't know why this is at my office and they just like put random decor in here. So I didn't pick it.
All right, cool. Well, maybe
I think it's
Hyder.
more a mic for like podcasting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, like you said, I think 2025 is going to bring a lot of challenges, for people. 20, I think 2024 was a very eye-opening year. A lot of people maybe had to pivot or kind of reevaluate what they're doing right now and what the future holds. Because even this morning, I was listening to I'm not sure how old it was, but it was a episode with Ryan Pineda and Dave Ramsey,
Mm.
and they were talking about how Pineda was looking at, a lot of people disagree with Dave Ramsey about debt, using debt to leverage to buy real estate and whatnot. But I guess Ryan Pineda lost, he, in his words, he lost millions, recently. Part of that is being leveraged in real estate. So he started just, he doesn't say he's agreeing that you have to buy everything in cash, but he's
Yeah.
also looking at it a little bit differently as far as how leveraged you are. But hey, what's up, Kobe? Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. Sorry, it was making me re-log into everything because I got logged out of my Google account. So,
No, but thanks for joining us last minute. Joel has some stuff he's dealing with, so he may or may not hop on. But thanks for doing this last minute, man.
yeah, for sure. Excited to be here and excited to meet you, Lauren, as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
As you can see, we got to bring Lauren over to EXP to attract a lot more followers and people wanting to sign up.
I don't know. It'll just be the people in the chat. It'll be Hyder signing on.
Well, Kobe, I don't know if you were listening, but did you kind of hear kind of how we're starting this off as far as talking about maybe 2025, and if we're going to be changing what we're doing, are we going to double down what we're doing in 2024, or what's the outlook for 2025 for you?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I think, for me, it's going to be a lot more of just focusing on the right things. I think in the past maybe 2 years or so, I've been focusing on a lot of just working in general, but not necessarily the right things, right? Because we can get bogged down a lot with, just doing things where we think we're just keeping ourselves busy, but it's not really, we're not really working towards what we want and the business that we want and the lifestyle that we want to create as well. So a lot of that is kind of be what I'm going to be focusing on is just figuring out, should I be doing this or should I be saying no more? I'm definitely going to be saying no a lot more, I think, to things that are not conducive to what I had envisioned probably two for the past 2 years, 2 years ago, that where I should be right now. So that's going to be my focus. I don't know if that made sense or I'm just rambling for for a minute there.
No, I think it made perfect sense. I feel like, yeah, refining when things slow down too, it's a little bit easier to refine your process and like what is actually working and focus on that.
Sorry, I was trying to understand this question. I like Pinto. Have you ever been hung over on game? All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'm not sure what, but yeah, I think like I was talking about, 2025 is just going to be a period to really reevaluate and kind of. I think 2024 was a rough time for a lot of people. I think, Kobe, you dealing with a lot of real estate agents. Would you say a lot of people kind of maybe transaction wise have been pretty down for like newer realtors that just got licensed?
Yeah, it's harder for newer agents to get up and going in a tough market. It's hard. I mean, it's hard for new agents to get up and going in general, just because I think there's not a lot of like when you get into real estate as a licensed agent, you expect it to be maybe a little bit different than what it actually is, which is more so just kind of you running your own business, right? You have to make sure that you're responsible for all the time that you're spending every day, how productive you are, the activities that you're doing. Right? We're going to give you the guidance on what to do and what's the best way to move forward and how not to make the same mistakes, right, that we did. But nobody's going to be like looking over your shoulder telling you exactly what to do and like assigning you like specific tasks, right? That's going to be up to the agent themselves to figure out. So yeah, I think in 2024, being in a slower market, less market share in general, it was definitely tougher on new agents because they have to learn how to do things and then they have to get up and going again as well. But also there are new agents who come in and they don't have that mindset, right? They don't have the mindset that they're new and they can't get anything done, and then instead they just go out there and just focus on the activities, and those are the ones that are more successful that we've seen, even if they were newer to the industry as well. So I think that's going to be the big thing for for everyone in every industry, right? Regardless of what you're doing, it's just if you have the mindset that if you focus on the right activities, then you should be able to overcome good bad markets, but also take advantage of the good ones as well. 'Cause that's really all you can control is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good point. I want to say what's up to Frank, old guy REI. And also, like I said, I'm testing out some new things. So check this out, folks. I'm going to share Frank's shirt that he's trying to raise money for the ORAD event to donate to the Blind Center. So here is the front of the shirt that he's selling. So if you want to go check it out, the PayPal link is in the chat. And here is the back of the shirt, and it says, "I found my tribe." Right. So I think that's super important. I think 2025, if you get around the right people, you're going to put yourself in position to succeed. So yeah, go check it out if you want to help donate to the Blind Center. But yeah, so same thing. Like I said, I've been working on some things, trying to share more content on the lives. So I kind of showed Lauren this already. So maybe we can dig into some Twitter posts that I've brought in or saved. So let's see. Let's see. Cody Sanchez says, "You ever looked over the edge of a cliff and seen more clearly? I think it's because a place with a chance of falling is more dangerous, and danger clears the mind." So, what's your guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it's I think it can be true. I think a lot of us do well under pressure. And when we create deadlines for ourselves or we create a high stakes situation, it can bring the best out of us if we are the type of person who will perform when we need to. But I also think that some people get close to the edge and they freak out and they crumble under the pressure. So I think it depends on, yeah, the kind of person that you are, and can you have a clear enough mind to remain calm. And I think in real estate, that is about like pivoting, and you are in a situation where you have a mortgage or you're doing a flip and it's not going the way that you want, and so you have all this pressure on you. Can you like treat it as if you're looking over a cliff and try and see more clearly as to what the best path forward is? That's kind of how I think of it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, when I see that, I think it reminds me of like when people talk about instincts, right? When they're, when they're in a dangerous situation or, in an emergency, like your instincts kick in and then you kind of let intuition take over, right? If you're, ever in a situation or heard of anybody in a situation where they're like, almost getting into a car accident, right? And just to just know which way to swerve. It's kind of like
Mhm.
that. It's kind of what it reminds me of. But I agree with you, Lauren. I think for a lot of people, it's not, there are certain people who thrive a lot under like certain pressure and being, kind of their back against the wall. And there's a lot of people, I think, and I think a lot of this community as well, that are watching these lives and these videos will agree. There are certain people that aren't necessarily going to perform their best if they're always on, always on and always, super high pressure as well. And they perform a little bit better when they have more control over what they can do and how long it takes for them to do it as well. So you have to figure
Mhm.
out who you are, maybe test a little bit, I think, and then just go with whatever you think you're going to be the most productive in, whether if it's high pressure or maybe lower pressure.
I do like the idea of like creating deadlines for yourself if you do thrive under pressure. Cause I do well when I have a deadline and I know something's coming up. I'm a little bit of a procrastinator with things that I don't want to do. So I create like false deadlines for myself, and it helps me get things done and keep things on track.
Yeah, where's that big vision board that I think maybe about a few months ago, a couple episodes, we had like that big board behind you?
Yeah, my calendar, my big ass calendar.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great way. Like you said, I think the biggest thing is understanding yourself and knowing what you need to do. And like you said, if you need to have a big calendar to put everything down to hold you accountable, that's the biggest thing. And just like Kobe touched on too, it's just kind of finding what works best for you. Are you a person that's gonna constantly be trying different things, or you're gonna kind of niche down? But yeah, I also want to say what's up to Dennis in the chat. Thanks for stopping. He's the one that like I said, thanks for all the comments, because he was telling me certain things maybe that during the lives was either difficult to read, or even I guess me typing replies to people. He said sometimes in the background is drowning some people out. So I got to do
Mhm.
better. I'm gonna try mute myself maybe more when I'm typing. But thanks for stopping by, man. But yeah, I like the feature. I like being able to show some of these questions, and but yeah, for me, I think you know as far as standing on the cliff, I think it definitely makes things a lot clearer sometimes, right? You're more focused. And I was actually talking to my dad about this yesterday, because he fell down again the other day. And he typically falls down at home, and I think it's because he's just comfortable, so he gets lazy. And that's why, yeah, I told him, hey, like when you go to the gym, or when you're paying more attention to things, and you're kind of concentrating a little bit more. So I told him, I said, hey man, at home and stuff, you gotta kind of focus, because if you fall down and get hurt, I mean, man, that's it's kind of, I hate to say it, but it's a little bit downhill from there. So I think that's the same thing, right? When you're on the edge or on the cliff, kind of things are a little more clear, actually. But yeah, let's see. What does Hyder say? I am focusing. I don't want to do because uncomfortable. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Leaning into the things that are uncomfortable.
Okay. Let's see. What else do we? Oh, I think this one is perfect for Lauren because she disappeared for 4 months on us, and we don't know where she went. But let's see. Here is Jaspreet Singh says, "What's the best thing money can buy? The freedom to go to Barcelona this weekend, the freedom to pay your bills without stress, the freedom to buy a hungry person food, and the freedom to afford better healthcare for your parents." Yeah.
Absolutely. Honestly, I couldn't agree more. I think that that is why we're all doing this, is why we all want financial freedom. I know I will definitely be doing more of taking advantage of the freedoms. I will probably be going back to Bali sometime in this year, maybe this summer. So
Can you let me know though, and like not just disappear, and I have to like
I'm going to, my 2025 New Year's resolution is to be better at doing these things while I'm in Bali. So we'll have to also figure out time zone wise. It would be like 11 p.m. there right now. So I can do that. I can do it at 11 p.m. I'll just become a little bit of a night owl.
might be drunk at that time.
No, I don't really, Bali's not like a drinking culture that much.
Mm.
Yeah. The alcohol is really expensive there.
Well, and then like Kobe, I mean, I always forget, but you're like what, 21, 22. So we talked about it. We're gonna find
So
you your.
he'll be drunk.
Well, no, we're gonna help Kobe find his first house hack or rental property. But I like the idea of like, we talked about EXP a little bit, but his mindset on why he believes in that model and how it's not just, you're kind of focusing on building like a revenue stream, right? Not just through
Mhm.
sales or through real estate. So is that kind of your vision with money and mindset, Kobe?
Yeah, definitely. So I would love to leave and go to Bali for 4 months, just like Warren did. I think that's what a lot of people want, right? Maybe not necessarily like specifically in Bali, but like there's certain locations, right? I've heard a lot of people that want to just travel, right? They want to go to Europe, they want to go to other places here in the U.S. They want to go to where you're at, Mark. They want to go to Hawaii. I think a lot of people want to do that as well, and I think that's part of it, right? Making money is not about making money so that you can keep working. I don't think that's the reason why people want to make a certain amount of money. And I think for a lot of people, and you guys can kind of think about that in your own lives as well. It's not necessarily about how much money that you're making. It's just the way that you're making it, right? Like, I think a lot of people, when they really think about it, they would be happier. They wouldn't necessarily be happier if they have to work more to make twice the amount of money, but they will be a lot happier if they have to work half as much or a quarter as much time, but be making the same amount of money they're making now, working the full amount of time they're working. I think that's the real freedom there, is being able to choose what to do with the amount of money that you have, and being able to choose how do you spend your time and how do you spend your money as well. So I think that's the big part, and that's where kind of goes back to building a residual income stream is so important. Whether if it's through rental properties, whether if it's through revenue share that we're doing here at EXP as well, or any other residual income stream through a business. I think that's the ultimate goal, and I think for a lot of people, they do get caught up as well when they're in the middle of it, because there's always a bigger goal and a bigger mountain to climb. But sometimes you got to slow down a little bit, kind of like what I'm doing this year, and just figure out, like, is this really what I want, or did I somehow maybe lose track of that while I was in the middle of building it? And
Mhm.
let's get back on track.
Yeah, I liked it. I know I liked when we talked to about how because a lot of people in real estate or investing, they like to leverage, right? Like maybe they get one property, then they leverage it, take out some equity, get the next property, and like you were talking about, a lot of times, real estate agents can do well, but they got to keep doing transactions to make their income or their money. Where the revenue stream with EXP, like you're saying, it's kind of like one builds on the next, and you're kind of building this layer of income that's coming in, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's like, for investors, the biggest example I can give, I think that makes sense, is like flipping versus buying a rental property. Right. If you have a really good flipping business, then you're always flipping. Right. Unless like you build a system in there, but still, like, even if something breaks down, then it's an active income stream, right? You have to keep flipping in order to make money. It's a bigger check for sure, especially, I think, especially in the investing space, right? A check you get from a flip is much, much higher than you get from like a monthly rental distribution or a monthly rental, um, monthly rental income. But if you're building rental property or rental portfolio, then what happens is you can keep building it, right? You buy one rental property and then you're going to get monthly rental income every month. And then you buy another one, you can spend your time doing that. So you're building up your income stream so that one day you can stop working, versus if you flip, right? Unless, you invest your money wisely, you're going to have to keep flipping. So it's the same way for real estate agents as well. If you're selling a house, you get a much bigger check, right? It's a commission check, but you have to go back out there and do it again if you want to keep earning that same amount of money. That's the biggest issue for a lot of people who are in sales or commission based or just transaction based income streams, is you have to keep doing it. And the other thing about that is sometimes you don't have the option to keep doing it, right? Sometimes that choice is not up to you. There are family emergencies, life emergencies, health emergencies as well, right? Like Mark, you're taking care of your parents, right? As well. So there's things that come up, and there might be a situation where you're forced to not be able to work for a month or two, or maybe even longer, right? We've heard stories of that happening to agents, and the ones who did build up either a rental property portfolio or an income stream like revenue share at EXP, are the ones who are able to survive that, versus the ones who didn't have that. Even though they were doing really good on the sales side, they weren't able to sustain that, and they actually have to go back and get a job, or just exit the industry as a whole, because it wasn't, that time that to take off, they weren't able to sustain their business anymore. So I know I just went on a huge
Yeah.
rant there, but um,
No, you made some really good points. I mean, I feel like with the having like the residual income, you can only work that hard for so long. And I even feel it now, and I'm not even that old, but I'm not that young either. So I'm like, the way that I've worked in the past, and like that day in and day out, putting in long hours and building that up. If I were in a position of doing sales, I would have made a good income, but would have nothing to show for it in 5 years if I stopped working. And so I think having that residual income coming in without working, building up rental properties, I think that's, yeah, what we're all kind of doing it for. But I think you do need a little bit of a combination of both. A lot of new investors think they're just going to buy a rental property and it's going to start cash flowing from day one. And in the first year, they'll be able to quit their W-2 job and be living off their rental properties, which can happen. But I think it does take a little bit longer, especially if you don't want to become over leveraged. And like you were saying earlier, Mark, like what happened to Ryan Pineda, which luckily he has multiple income streams, so it was fine. But I think with his flipping business, he did get over leveraged and lost millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's actually what I was going to bring up too. It kind of, the systems that you've put in place, because I know you were doing flips and you still might be doing some flips, and it does generate more, I guess you could say, active income. But at the same time, you've also put systems in place where you can travel to Bali for 4 months and see income coming in or covering your expenses. So I think that's what people have to look at. And you kind of touched on too. I saw someone was just talking about that, right? Like, one rental property or a couple rental properties are not going to really set you free. But if you have a great W-2 and you just need some extra income or assets on the side, then that's a great combination. But if you need to increase your active income, then that's why people are flipping, or real estate agents are doing transactions. But you also have to think about how to bring in revenue when you're not working. So, and then let's see, we got some Of course, we got new people stopping in today since Lauren's here. Lauren's looking super good today, and yeah, and I said only yes, always, Um, yeah. Oh, Trade Better's here. Thanks for stopping by. He'll be here tomorrow. Trade Better will be. I'm going to do a live tomorrow. Also, we're going to talk about self-managing or property management when you're doing out-of-state investing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So let's see. Do you guys want to move on to the net, or do you guys have more stuff to talk about as far as I guess being able to how do you look at money in a sense, right? How to prepare yourself and what it can set you up for. Any more stuff you want to talk about on that?
Mm, I don't. I don't think so.
Okay, we got so I'll let you guys pick. We got a monopoly tweet or invest in yourself for 2025. Hmm.
Ooh, I feel like. I mean, let's go with the Monopoly one.
All right, here we go. So this is my friend Skylar Romines on X. She's an insurance agent, a commercial insurance agent, and yeah, and just perfect time. Frank Aguilar in the comments is talking about the fires in California, and it's crazy what's going on there. And but let's see, this one says Monopoly is a great game to learn about capitalism, except if there except if there was an American version of Monopoly, everybody wouldn't start with the same amount of money from the bank. The rules would be a little different. Some would start with millions, others would start in debt, some would get one roll of the dice every round, others would get 10 rolls per round. This is the reality of the system we live in. It's not fair, and it's not a true meritocracy, and it never will be. You can either bitch about it or figure out how to make the most of the game. And I think that's where we're at right now, right? I think there's people that are complaining about things that life's not fair, and there's others that realize that life is not fair, and they're doing the best they can and putting themselves in situations to I guess better themselves. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm a huge advocate for being able, not being a victim of your circumstances, and everybody has an incredible opportunity, especially in this country, to build up a business or make money. There is so much opportunity here, especially compared to a lot of other parts of the world. So I think here I agree with that. I do think there are some people who grow up in really horrific circumstances, and that can be really challenging and can affect their ability to further and better their life. But Monopoly was created by a woman who was trying to show that monopolies don't work, and that in the end one player ends up with all of the the property in the end, and then the other ones end up broke and poor. So I think if you look at it that way, you just have to go, okay, how am I going to win this game? Because we are in a capitalistic society. And so you have to learn the rules of the game. Otherwise, you probably will end up not having a lot and struggling, and I don't know, maybe going to jail and not collecting $200.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that was why Monopoly was invented. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
just
what I thought
actually
when I researched it.
I just actually ordered the kids version of the cash flow board game for my son. We're gonna goof around with that. But yeah, Frank Aguilar, thanks for stopping by. He says, I think the best way to make money is to make money with other people's money. And I think, that's a great way to do it. But I think at the same time, you gotta prove yourself or know how to find that money or have kind of proof of concept where people will be willing to lend you money or whatnot. Or so I think that's it's really about, because I see people out there that I guess have the resources to do things, but either I don't know if scared is the right word, or they're not in the around the people that are trying to do things or move forward. So even though they have the assets to do things, they're really just sitting on the sidelines, just happy with, I guess, putting it in their savings account in a sense, right? So I think when you play Monopoly or these type of games, it really opens your eyes to see how some people look at money a different way, right? And they're playing the game a different way. But yeah, let's see.
I love the cash flow game. It's I think it's way more educational than Monopoly. And Monopoly is a game where, a lot of chance plays into it in a different way than cash flow. Like in cash flow, the chance of like, okay, you might start out as a janitor versus a doctor. But you realize that you sometimes have more of an advantage as the doctor than you do as or you have more of an opportunity as the janitor than the doctor because the doctor has more loans and stuff. So it's like set up in a way that's really realistic. Just because you have a higher income does not mean that you will ultimately be more successful. It's about what you do with your income. And I've seen people who have the like quote unquote less good jobs be more successful.
Yeah, I think that's what the tweet was talking about as well, right? That's more of that's a better reflection of kind of reality. And I love what you said there about, people are, it's not about like how much income you're making, it's about like what you're doing with it, because that's the reality for a lot of people who are in high income jobs or positions. Is they're actually living paycheck to paycheck. And they have, it looks great from the outside, but if they're not investing, if they're not making the right decisions, then they're the ones who are going to end up in debt, because again, like they might lose their job, things might change like really quickly, within like a month or so, and then they could lose everything because they're so over leveraged. Right? I think that's what Mark is talking about, and what you guys are talking about, like don't be over leveraged, right? It's the same thing for your personal life, right? Don't be over leveraged, and try not to get into a lot of bad debt as well. And then something else I think, it's just, we all start in different positions, and we can either think of that as like, we can either think of our position as a disadvantage, or we can think of it as how can we use this to our advantage as well. So it does
Mhm.
go back to a little bit on like how we're thinking about things. And I think, if we think about whatever it is that we're given, that we have right now, as how can I use this to my advantage, then we could, take more control over our lives and our results as well. Because that's the only thing that we can't control, is what we do and our activity, the things that are happening around us, not so much. But how we show up every day, the things that we do, and the way that we think, and the way that we move forward, that's the only thing that we can control. So let's focus on that instead of all the things that are happening around us that we can't, we don't have a say in, essentially. And just, I guess accept it as as reality, and say, so what, right? We can be successful no matter where we start. So.
Mhm.
So I think Frank, who's making some great points in the chats, was, like he says, I agree to disagree. I think he's kind of talking about maybe my take on maybe having to prove yourself a little bit before people might be willing to lend you money, or using other people's money to invest. But I love it. I think that's what we're all here for. It'll be boring if we all agreed on the same things. And I definitely think some people maybe have more of that confidence in themselves, and are able to sell it in a way to other people, and are able to get other people's money to invest, or to leverage. But I think, yes, it goes back to what Lauren was talking about earlier. It's really knowing yourself, right? You kind of know if someone is trying to borrow money from you, or trying to sell you a deal, and they're not confident about it, or they kind of show that they're new at this. I mean, it's going to be hard to lend them money. But yeah, and I think Hyder makes a great point too, right? And a lot of people are just concerned about stepping on people, or so he's trying to make everyone win. I think that's Hyder's trueness to himself, is that he's out there really trying to uplift everyone. And if you don't know Hyder's just this amazing guy supporting everyone. So another thing, you can go out there and support his channel too. He's doing some cool stuff out there, so go check out his YouTube channel. And Dennis is here. I think he mentioned something. Oh, and actually, you know what? Trade Better had a question for you, Lauren. What was the hardest part about managing from the other side of the world?
Honestly, I think it's just time zone, being in a complete different time zone and having to, and also staying focused when you're in a place where everything else feels so far away. It can be easy to ignore things or let things slip through the cracks. And so it's important to like sit down and focus and check in and be hyper communicative with your team. So yeah, I think the hardest part is just, and then also if you don't have systems in place, that's going to be, it's almost impossible to manage out of state or be out of the country if you don't have good systems and a good team in place. So luckily I have really a really great team, and I found a few places where I have a little cracks, and I've, during this time that I'm here, I'm finding people to fill those spaces, and that way it'll be even easier in the future.
I just need better communication skills from you, though. Like, we didn't even hear
That's
from you.
that's one of the things that fell through the cracks. So I'm going to do better on that next time.
Ah.
We're practicing. We're working on it. Next time we'll be a little bit better.
So Colby, we kind of also talked about getting you your first rental property or house hack. I mean, are you would you ever consider investing remotely or out of state? Because you're in a good market, right? You're in Texas, right? So are you looking in your backyard, or are you looking to maybe branch out to another market?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't. Yeah. So that for me, I think investing is just going to be a little bit more passive for me personally because I'm actively working on something else, right, with the EXP side. So yeah, that definitely doesn't take me out of um, thinking about investing out of state and other areas because I think you there's so many people that are doing this, right? I think Mark, that's what you're doing. You're investing out of state. That's what a lot of investors that we've spoken to are doing as well. So if you have the right systems, then it doesn't matter where you're investing in. So if you think of people who are investing in like syndications, right, they're not necessarily local, right? The apartment complex not necessarily local if they're investing in funds the same way as well. So for me, I think that's going to be kind of my strategy when it comes to investing. It's going to be more passive on my side and more just kind of putting money with the right investors with the right people, and then taking the dividends from that as well. So yeah, in state out of state doesn't really matter as long as it's a good investment. I think, especially now with all the technology, people are able to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it depends on what kind of rentals you have too. Like I have a long-term rental in Hawaii, and I literally never think about it because it's completely passive. My tenants are great and they've been there for years, and I'm sure they'll be there for years to come. So,
And you come here and you don't even call me. You call me when you're leaving. "Ah, I'm leaving tomorrow."
we were on different islands.
I was like, "You didn't even," but yeah, but you didn't even be like, "Yeah, I'm in the area, I guess."
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. There's a lot of Frank is making a lot of great points, and Hyder. I mean, I think that's the thing, right? I think that's the one thing I think from a like even like a real estate agent side, right? What and Kobe, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but Frank is talking about driving a Maserati or paying for oil changes and kind of looking the part in a sense, right? Spending money on certain things, and I think that's sometimes what maybe certain agents struggle with. It's like, do I need a nice car to take clients around, or do I have to dress a certain way? I mean, how do you think realtors or agents look at it?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the market that you're trying to appeal to, right? I know a lot of very successful luxury agents who do look the part, and they should, right? If you're going to be representing luxury clients, high profile clients, then they're gonna want somebody who is on their same wavelength, right? They have the same values, the same interests. So if you're going to be going after that market, there's got to be some things that you're doing, right? You don't have to drive a Maserati like immediately, right? If you're not making any money, that's not going to work for you, obviously. But you have to understand that that's not necessarily a toy that you're buying. That's an investment in your image, and that's an investment in yourself. And for a lot of these kind of more luxury style agents, people who are exclusively marketing to luxury clients, that's exactly how they treat it. That's an investment for them. It's part of their branding, it's part of their marketing, and for them, it's part of their lifestyle as well. But if you are, an agent who is representing investors, that's not necessarily the look that you want, right? Because that's not even the message that you're trying to promote. You're trying to promote or promote essentially, save money, invest it, right? Don't put your money into fancy toys, right? You want to put your money into more rental properties. So what are you doing, right? Are you also projecting that image as well? So I don't think, if you're a brand new agent into the industry, you can't afford, the nice suits or the fancy cars, and your client base, I think that's really what's going to determine it. Your client base is not, hey, I'm gonna want to go immediately in luxury, then you don't have to think that you have to look a certain way. But if that is what you want to do, if you want to represent high end clients, if you want to take the multi-million dollar listings, if that's part of your business, then you should really, that's an investment for you. Buying a nice tailored suit is an investment. Buying a nice, not necessarily a nice car, that's a much higher investment. But looking the part, creating that branding is part of your business, and you should think of it as investing in your business. I'm sorry if I look a little distracted. There's a lot going on in the comments.
No, yeah, I love it. I mean, like I said, I saw somebody messaged me on the side, and I said, yeah, they all show up when Lauren's here for some reason. So, or unless they thought it was because of my thumbnail, and they liked the kind of Guardians of the Galaxy play
Yeah,
on
they were
things.
here for Joel, and they're crying in the comments now because he's not here.
Yeah, well, hopefully you guys liked my AI. I've been playing around with AI a little
I
bit
loved
more,
it.
so I got some special ones of Matt coming out that look like Thor, and with long hair, but it still got his little mustache. And Lev, thanks for stopping by, man. Never seen you here. Yeah, times are hard out there. People are struggling. Yeah, just hang in
I
there and
I was gonna say I love what Hyder said, that like not at the expense of others and killing your good reputation. I think it's so in this business, in real estate, reputation is really important, and especially for the longevity of especially real estate agents. Of course, your reputation. I know when I sell my properties, I go with people who have a good reputation in the community and don't have conflict with other people and are friendly and get along well, but of course are also going to be strong at negotiating and represent me the way that I want to be represented. But I think especially when you're taking money, if you're taking private capital, reputation that you're going to be responsible with it is super important.
yeah, I think I'm sure you've had some experience with it, Lauren. I think we've all dealt with, probably maybe people, contractors that we've worked with, or maybe even property managers, and you just sometimes, not saying they did you wrong, but just sometimes we've had bad experiences, and you start to look at certain people that you may or may not want to work with, and I think that just is in every day of life, right? That's kind of just how it is. So your reputation is important, and how you deal with people, and it's really, like I said, it's always about understanding yourself, right? I also want to throw this out there. Colby is going to be in Vegas for the ORAD event. He got his tickets. He'll be there. So if other people want to know more about EXP or becoming an agent, come check us out. Lauren is still on the fence. We're trying to
I'm
get her
teetering.
there. Yeah, we're trying to get her there. So, but it's going to be a fun time. But yeah, let's see what else can we got one last tweet that I saved, and this one was from, I think it was from Jaspreet Singh also. He says, here are a few unique ways to invest in yourself in 2025. Pay down your debt, buy a book, take an online class, or invest in your health, gym membership, therapy, healthy foods. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of all of those, I think if you're even leaving out one of those, it's probably not good. You should be reading books, exercising, and yeah, taking time for yourself. Um,
Not saying you weren't healthy or fit before, but it seemed like when you were gone for 4 months, I saw a lot of your Instagram stuff. It seems that you were being very active and working out quite a bit. Not CrossFit, but I know there was another name you. But is that kind of a new take for you, or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have always been somebody who loves exercise and been healthy and fit, but then doing real estate, I was like 14 hours a day working and definitely not focusing on my health at all. It's like when you're busy and you're stressed, you also are just like eating whatever. This community doesn't have the most healthy food. There's like one yoga studio and a couple of gyms. It's like it's not as surrounded around health as it what as like Maui is very health centric. The food there is incredible. It's very fresh. So yeah, so I intentionally took that time in Bali to focus on my health. And I think there's that old adage that, man trades his health for money and then trades his money for health. And I think that it was a little bit of that situation where it's like I traded my health for money, and then I had to trade my money for health and focus on that. And so this year I'm trying to do it in a more balanced way and do both, not let one or the other go, and try and incorporate both along the way, because you really can't ever get those years back of being. It's so important to take care of your body, because once you have a health issue, then it can put a stop to everything else that you're doing, and all of that momentum can go away. So yeah, this year it's focusing on both health and business.
What about you, Kobe, as far as kind of that four or five things Jasper Singh was writing down? Or is there anything else you look for 2025 you'd add to it, or are you kind of sticking to that also, you think?
No, I think I'm sticking to that as well. It's just your health, both your mental and physical health, is very important because again, you can make a lot of money but still not be able to enjoy it if you're not healthy and you're not able to get out of bed every morning. So that's another part of that as well. So that's the only thing that really you have with you is your health, your physical and mental health as well. So you got to take care of it, whether if it's working out, drinking more water, being on the right diet, right? And all of that matters. It's a combination of things. I think it's part of your lifestyle, and just figuring out a way to do that as well. If you're doing a lot of traveling as well, so I know Lauren, you were traveling for 4 months. I'm sure there were certain things that you worked out right to maintain that lifestyle. I think Bali's more conducive to that than if let's just say you were going to like I don't know like Vegas for 4 months for whatever reason. But but yeah, so just I think that's important too. I think more people need to be focusing on their health, whether if it's changing up their diet, whether if it's adding more exercise, right? You don't have to go run a marathon, but it's maybe working out for 10, 20 minutes a day. And if you haven't been doing that, then that can make a huge difference as well. It's all about consistency and just kind of adding that into part of your life and part of your routine as well. And where does that fit best for you?
Yeah, totally agree. I think the one part, and I think I see people struggle with is, I don't know if spreading themselves out too much. Like they're trying to focus on their health, they're trying to focus on money, and yes, you want to be balanced, but I think at the same time, I don't know, you probably may not agree with me, but I think you have to sacrifice a little bit at times, and maybe you need to get that business going, or get that money coming in, or whether it's your health side if it's struggling, but you kind of have to double down on something in the beginning, and
Yeah.
then you can kind of either diversify or spread yourself out. But the funny thing was, some guys at the firehouse the other day were talking about how waking up for alarms, or they don't sleep well at the station because they're always kind of on high alert, right? They're worried about that bop coming in or missing the alarm, so they don't sleep very well at the station. And then they were questioning me, like, why I wake up early all the time, as far as that's not good for your health. You wake up early and your schedule. And then I kind of told them, if you look at it, right, if I can retire early or get out of the firehouse early, now I've improved my sleeping in a sense, right? I don't have to worry about waking up for that bop that comes in at 2 a.m. or whatnot. Whereas, you guys are going to work 25, 30 years, but now every time you're sleeping, you're concerned about waking up, and that puts stress on your health. So I think, yes, it's like that's why I'm kind of doubling down right now to just give myself the option if I want to retire early.
Yeah. Oh, Trade Better wants to know if you guys had the same opportunity to extended travel, where would you guys go?
Do you have a place in mind, Mark, for 4 months?
I would I'm kind of boring in a sense, but I think I would want to get like an RV, like a nice RV, and just kind of just probably like travel to, like, maybe go during football season or baseball, and just travel to different stadiums and catch different games and be in different cities and kind of just experience, I guess, America that way. I don't know.
Hmm?
I think that
That's nice.
sounds awesome.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I'll
gonna
make
get
sure
into
if I'm in Florida, I'll call you when I'm leaving. Yeah.
Florida is one state. That Hawaii is separate islands. It's not the same. And plus, you'll probably be at like a Gators game, which is right where I live. So you'd have to call me.
Yeah, I probably would. I'm trying to think who. Oh, they got Tampa and Jacksonville. Yeah, for NFL.
Mhm.
I think, but the baseball stadium got destroyed, right? I think.
Yeah, but I think they're already like rebuilding it.
Oh, scuba in Indonesia for Hyder, he said,
I'm
and
going scuba diving in Indonesia, Hyder. So come
s-
along.
Hyder must know something that I don't know. He uh, all right. Well, anything else you guys want to rant about or talk about, or what are you guys working on?
Did you guys see the fires in LA? Mark, I was curious what you thought about that because it feels like a Maui situation all over again.
Well, if you want to go there, you know, I, I think part of it is just everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, not a lot of rain, very windy, um, but and I don't live there, so I don't know the true politics or how money's being spent or whatnot. But from what it sounds like, is a lot of resources are being diverted or taken away from the forestry side, or maintaining these areas. Even the fire department supposedly got their budget reduced. They supposedly gave away equipment to Ukraine and things like that. But I think that's part of it, right? Is there's other places in the country that have wildlife or forestry, but I think a lot of it is coming down to maintaining it. And if you have the money and this is a problem,
Yeah.
it's something that you have to maintain and be accountable for. And I even in Hawaii, like we used to do, well, this was before I got into the department, so over 20 years ago. But they used to do controlled burns, and they used that. Part of that was for training, but that was part of it was also to maintain these areas, right? So you burn the area so that they can't burn, or you're kind of controlling it. But part of it is the climate, activists and people concerned, and so it's that's part of it. I think having controlled burns is super important, and if they can get back to that, or just more maintaining, because I think a lot of it too is, they said, like, even like if it's dry and you have these trees that fall, and nobody's removing them, so you're having all this basically kindling of fuel building up. And once there's one fire, then it's just so easy, and it just jumps in. And if the winds take off, and you just really can't do anything. So I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah. And so much of this area is residential. I mean, it's just packed with houses like the Pacific Palisades. They're really, there's the hills and whatnot, but it's basically just dry grass. So it's just kindling for having a huge fire. And I don't know if you saw the Joe Rogan podcast that he did a few weeks ago before this fire happened, where he said he was talking to a firefighter, and the firefighter said it's just a matter of time before there's a huge fire in LA because it's so dry and yeah, right for that kind of situation.
Yeah, so it part of it is, where there's a lack of housing, right? So anytime there's space or some place that they can put housing, they're going to try and do it. But so I think, it got to be preventative, right? So there has to be more measures in place to try and prevent. You're always going to have fires. It's going to happen no matter what. But it's being, um, you know, trying not to have it get out of hand in a sense, right? So I think that's where the maintaining the forestry is really important, and it just, like I said, I'm not there and I don't know, but it just sounds like there's a lack of funding in those areas to maintain it and keep it safe. And something like this happens, and then yeah, like there's nothing they can really do. I mean, I think even if they had the resources or manpower, there's not much you can do, right?
Yeah.
The winds are just so strong and they can only do so much. But Hyder says, throw me into your suitcase. I, what are your favorite themed Monopoly games? Not sure what do you mean favorite themed Monopoly
Yeah,
game?
you know how there's like Monopoly, you can do the
Oh,
different
okay.
things. Yeah. I just go for the regular old Monopoly. I don't think I've ever played a themed one.
I think I played like a Pixar one in the summer camp once. That was fun.
Well, I think that's great, especially like for my son, right? Like if there's
Mhm.
like a Spider-Man or or one what he's more interested in, it does, he's more interested in playing it, I think. But if you're using these older the original version, I think they're less interested in it.
Yeah.
So I think the themed ones are a good idea. Trey better likes the Millionaire Edition, and Hyder likes the OG version.
Mm.
um, yeah, and I think there were some questions earlier about the cash flow board game one. Why is it so expensive? But yeah, that that there is a high price point for it, but I
Yeah.
think you'll get good use out of it. Hey, what's up, Hugo? I gotta message you, man. I don't know. Are you gonna be going to the ORAD event in Vegas, Hugo? But message me, man. We're still trying to get Lauren to show up. Dion's favorite is the World of Warcraft theme Monopoly. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you guys want to wrap it up with? This was a fun one. Thanks, Kobe, for filling in. Lauren, it's always good to have you on. We always have some, we're up to 47 viewers, right? Or 50 viewers. So somehow, like I said, it's either my thumbnail or somehow the word got out that Lauren was going to be here. So for some reason, there's always people that hop in when Lauren's here. Um,
It's your thumbnail.
yeah, everyone was waiting for Joel, but he's doing some stuff. It's snowing where he's at. It's cold. I may go to Vegas, but not the event. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So what do you guys got planned then for the rest of the week? I guess or
I've got an open house at the farm, and there's a showing happening. So hoping that I'm under contract by next week.
oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, but it was under contract at one point, right? And then it either fell through or
Yeah.
is there like what is it financing that's been the problem or what
Um, they
insurance?
they had no, they wanted a contingency for the sale of their property, and so I didn't want to do that because that was till March, which is
Mm.
through our high season. So they were trying to get a bridge loan so that they could purchase it and then pay off that bridge loan. So that didn't work out.
Is insurance affecting that property also, like getting insurance or cost of insurance?
No, we're in a really great area as far as like Florida and insurance goes. We're like not in a flood zone, not in a hurricane area. So, Cala insurance isn't too bad.
All right, Kobe, what you got planned? A bunch of agents you got to talk to this week?
A few. Yeah, but that's pretty much. I'm just kind of like a get back in a swing of things kind of week for me. I just got back from a road trip on last
Oh,
Friday.
that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. You went down to Florida, right?
Yeah, I was in Florida. I think I passed Ocala.
Oh yeah, you probably drove through it.
Really, it's close to Orlando, right? And that's
Yeah, it's about an hour from Orlando.
okay. I probably drove through it then.
Hmm.
Sounds nice,
All
right?
all right. So, one last time, if anyone hasn't grabbed their shirts yet, here is the front of the Old Guy REI ORAT t-shirt fundraiser for the Blind Center where the event's going to be at. And like we always go back to, I think it's super important, right? Find your tribe, right? Find who you connect with and who you can win with, and let's just help everyone find success in this. And this was fun. And if you guys want any parting words, but we can wrap it up here, and we'll do it again.
All right. See you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.